From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, March the 4th, 2020. Israel's Central Election Committee updated their results this morning with an approximate 99% of the votes now tallied. Likud standing now at 36 seats, blue and white at 33. Shas dropped from 10 to 9 seats, now leaving Netanyahu with a block of 58 seats, 3 shy of the required 61 to form a government. Meanwhile, blue and white said it was working on getting a majority to support a law that would prevent Netanyahu from serving as prime minister over the indictments against him, something its leader Benny Gantz had proposed last year, but that was rejected. Netanyahu responded to Gantz's initiative, claiming the blue and white leader was trying to steal the election by trying to pass the law. Now, there are still votes being counted, by the way. Official results will only be published on March the 10th. Jewish presidential hopeful Mike Bloomberg has dropped out of the race for the Democratic presidential nomination and has endorsed Joe Biden, calling the former vice president his friend and a great American. The former New York mayor made the decision after a poor showing on Super Tuesday. A case of coronavirus has temporarily shut down several Jewish schools in the New York area. The diagnosed case is a 50-year-old Jewish man from New Rochelle who is said to have an underlying medical condition and is hospitalized in serious condition. The man's son, who attends Yeshiva University, also tested positive for the virus, and YU canceled classes yesterday. Another of his children attends SAR, the Salanter Akiva Academy in Riverdale, which shut down yesterday, as did Westchester Day School and Westchester Torah Academy, but only as a precautionary measure, with no cases of the virus found at either school. In addition, some 600 congregants from Young Israel of New Rochelle have been told to self-quarantine, and services were ordered suspended at the synagogue. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo held a press conference yesterday, stressing that it was anticipated that the virus would spread.
It is inevitable that it will continue to spread. But what does that mean? The basic fact, 80% of the people who get it will self-resolve and may not even know that they had it. That's 80%. 20% may get ill. Lethality rate, according to CDC, 1.4%. Lethality rate for the normal flu 0.6%. Double what the normal flu would be, if the CDC is right. And on the normal flu, you don't even know how many people in this country passed away last week because of the flu. So there has to be perspective here and a context for all of this.
Israel has imposed a number of measures to help prevent the spread of the virus. The Israeli Health Ministry said there will be no gatherings of over 5,000 people and recommended to people over the age of 60 and those with chronic health conditions to avoid crowds and meetings with people who've recently been abroad or who show any symptoms of illness. All Israelis returning from France, Germany, Spain, Austria, and Switzerland have to self-quarantine for 14 days. And foreign citizens arriving from those countries won't be allowed into Israel unless they can show that they can self-quarantine at a home during their stay. Israel has 15 confirmed cases of the virus. The U.S. and Israel began a massive joint military exercise yesterday in Israel. This is the 10th annual Juniper Cobra exercise between the IDF and the U.S.-Europe Command, which began yesterday and runs through March the 13th. The IDF said the objectives of the exercise are to strengthen cooperation, coordination, and mutual learning between the two armies, as well as to improve the capability to defend against missile threats and any joint threats. The IDF tweeting that there was one overall goal: exercise our aerial defense systems to make sure together we are ready to combat any threat anytime. 2 swastikas and an anti-Semitic phrase were found carved into a seat at Montclair High School this week. Principal Anthony Grasso said it was unclear how long the carvings had been there. but this is the third such incident at the school since the beginning of the school year in September. Grasso said this display has no place within our four walls and community. This will not be tolerated, adding that I am troubled by events such as this is an example of ignorance and calls for a stronger need for education within our school and the community. Grasso said he was partnering with the local clergy in Montclair, continuing to find ways in involving the community in a call for acceptance and inclusion. Well, Israel has selected the song that will represent the country at the Eurovision, the international song contest, which Israel won in 2018. Israeli voters and judges chose Feker Libi, written by Doron Medali and Idan Reichel, which will be sung by Eden Alena, who is Israel's first Ethiopian Israeli to represent Israel at the contest. The name of the song means "My Love" in Amharic and also has lyrics in English, Hebrew, and Arabic. Eurovision 2020 will take place in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, this May. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, March the 4th at 7 o'clock. It's From the Aleph Bet. At 8, a conversation with the Pogrebin family on Jewish identity. At 9, Team Israel is in the spotlight. Mark Golub sits down with members of Israel's national baseball team, manager Eric Holtz, pitcher Eric Brodkowitz, and general manager Peter Kurz, who discussed the thrill of the team's winning a spot for the first time in the Olympics as they prepare to head to the Tokyo Games this summer. At 10, we hear from Women of the Wall's Leslie Sachs about religious pluralism in Israel. And coming up right after this newscast, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, March the 4th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader.